G'day folks, Links here, and welcome to Dyson Sphere program. So this is going to be a really quick one. I know I've not uploaded anything in quite a long time. So I just want to quickly sort of go through what I've been up to, what I'm planning to get up to, and we're just gonna use a run around my we're just going to use a look around my Dyson Sphere base, basically as a bit of background, because I've been playing that for the last couple of weeks. So there's been quite a few changes at work. I've been quite busy with project work and whatnot. So I've found myself having a lot less free time, or the last couple of months I've had sort of less free time than I would like. But I've still been playing a lot of games. I've just not really had the desire to, record YouTube videos and stuff. So I guess in terms of what I've been playing, I'm currently working on a mega base in Factorio Space Age, which I will actually probably do videos on at some point. Or I'll do like a base tour video sort of thing. I've been playing a bit of Satisfactory. I'm probably not going to do a video on Satisfactory. I'm not even sure if I'll finish it. It's not a bad game, and I do advise that you give it a try if you've been looking at it and think it might appeal to you. I would definitely give it a shot. It's definitely a fun game. I do like the way it rewards exploration. That is quite nice. But yeah, I just don't think it's necessarily for me. I think the first person aspect is one of the things that puts me off it. And it's kind of one of the reasons why I switched from Minecraft back to Factorio for a bit, because it was so much easier to be able to iterate on. Yeah, it's easier to iterate on stuff in games like Factorio, where you can just press, paste down blueprints, Control Z if you do something wrong, etc. I mentioned this in my K2SE video. So, and I've been playing Dyson Sphere program. So I also gave Shapes 2 a brief try as well. I can't make up my mind about Shapes 2. It was the 1.0 release that I gave a try. I will probably give it another try at some point, but I can't make up my mind about it. It is a good game. I'm not saying it's a bad game. It is a good game. I like the very chill vibe that it has compared to a lot of the other factory games. But it's whether it's for me or not. And then I've been playing Dyson Sphere, which is what we have on the screen now. So my railguns have stopped firing. It doesn't look as cool now. So yeah, basically, I have spent the last couple of weeks playing Dyson Sphere, primarily because I started playing it back in 2024. I wanted to get I do want to 100% this game, but I spent the last couple of weeks getting probably the achievement that I'm going to hate the most, which is the Mission Impossible achievement. Finish the game in under 10 hours. I'm not a big fan of speedrun achievements. I didn't really enjoy Express Delivery in Factorio either. But I do have it. I do have that achievement now. I actually got it last night. So with a time of 9 hours, 34 minutes. But it did take me 3 attempts. It did take me 3 attempts to get it, as I needed to, as my first attempt was 11 hours, my second attempt was literally 10 hours, 2 minutes, and then, yeah, I got it in 9 hours, 34 in the third attempt. So in terms of kind of where I'm going to go, I'm not going to finish Nomi Factory CEU. I've been umming and ahhing about whether to go back to it. I've been umming and ahhing about whether to go back to it. I'm not going to finish it. I just don't really have the desire to keep playing a 1.12 pack. There's nothing wrong with Nomi CEU itself. It's you know, it's not the perfect pack, but it is a good pack, especially if you've not played Greg Tech. But I don't think I really want to. I don't think I really want to keep playing a 1.12 pack. So I'm going to be replacing Nomi CEU with Moni Factory hard mode. I was tossing up between Moni Factory and Star Technology, but I think Moni Factory is what I'm going to do because I do want to try and see if I can build something pretty. I do have some ideas for a bit of a hopefully visually pleasing build in the 1.20 world that I have. So I have fired up Moni Factory and had a bit of a fire around. Find an area where I think I'd like to build and whatnot, and I think I've actually stumbled on something pretty good in terms of geography, but also in terms of the Lost Cities world gem. So that's something that I want to do. And I'm also going to be abandoning my current GTNH run, and that's for a couple of reasons. So I do plan to start a new run on GTNH 2.9. The first reason is that I don't really feel invested in the base that I've built. I've definitely made a lot of... I think I've definitely made decisions that make it harder to expand, harder to scale, sort of increase the effort level for maintaining it, etc. And I think and I now have the benefit of hindsight. Being in LUV, I do have the benefit of some hindsight. So I think the plan is I'm going to... and 2.9 does bring in some changes that do break. I actually fired up a daily, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago. And 2.9 does bring in some changes that do break some of my existing setups. So I thought I might as well... I don't feel invested enough in the base to sort of fix those problems. So I'm going to start a new run either on 2.9 daily, or I'm going to wait until twist-based technology becomes 2.9 compatible and then start a new run with twist space and 2.9. But I'm not quite sure what the development... I'm not quite sure what the status of 2.9 work is for twist space. So the other reason is the early game has changed quite a lot since I last played it. I last played the early game, it was either 2.5 or 2.6. And the early game has changed quite a bit since then. And there's an entirely new crop system as well, which I think is a backport of AgriCraft. So definitely want to give... I definitely want to keep playing GTNH, but I think I want to do a new run. And in that new run, I'm going to spoil it now. For Moni Factory, I'm going to attempt to make something that's at least aesthetic to a degree. For GTNH, I am going to lawn base once I get to personal dimension. The appeal for me for GTNH is not the building. Actually, the appeal for me for Minecraft in general is not the building. The appeal for me is the mod packs that require automation. So you think of GTNH, Moni Factory, StarTech, some of the FTB packs, Enigmatica, etc. So that's kind of where I want it. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. But I guess one nice thing about GTNH is, especially in 2.9, I think there's quite a few new multi-block structures coming in 2.9, both in terms of changing the structure of existing multi-blocks, but also adding new ones. And Twist also has a lot of really cool looking multi-blocks. So I think even a lawn base in GTNH still looks cool because of the newer multi-blocks. It's not like the old days where it's a lawn base of cubes. So yeah, I think that'll be quite fun. It takes a lot of the pressure off, because for me a lot of the pressure was because that was the one thing I did enjoy about my Nomi Factory base, was that I had it just all chunk divided, and it was easy to expand. It was easy to put a new setup in. I quite enjoyed that, and I think that's basically what I want for GTNH. And then for Moni Factory, I will look at probably something, more visually pleasing. So I guess just a couple of really quick points about. Obviously, we've been sat here staring at Dyson Sphere. I don't want this video to go on for too long, so just, I guess, a couple of quick thoughts on Dyson Sphere. So I've not played a run with Dark Fog yet, or I have, but I've not finished a run with Dark Fog. I don't think they're too difficult on default settings. I think, basically once you get missile turrets, they're just trivial on default settings. I think that is also probably the case even on max difficulty, but at least there's a bit more of a challenge. So overall, I really like it. It's very, very polished for an early access game. So if you basically see the term early access and that puts you off it, don't let it put you off. It is incredibly polished for early access. It's very visually pleasing. I love the grand sense of scale that it has. I don't think there's any other game in the factory genre that has this kind of scale. And it's very sci-fi. You've got Factorio, which has the very sort of utilitarian, and even in the more high-tech parts of Factorio, like the cryo stuff and whatnot. It all has the very utilitarian industrial aesthetic. Factorio has a very consistent art style, which is that very industrial, grungy art style. The Dyson Sphere is basically, again, it has a consistent art style, and they've chosen to go with the very sort of smooth sci-fi-esque art style with a lot of sci-fi jargon and stuff like that as well. And I think it works really well. I think they've done a really good job. It is missing... I do find the quality of life in Dyson Sphere to be a bit worse than Factorio. The blueprint system, for example, is nowhere near as good. There are mods that do address some of the quality of life stuff, but I think overall it's got a lot going for it, and the sense of scale that you get. So you don't have to finish. You don't even have to leave the home system to finish the game. You can finish the game purely in the home system. And the maximum size star cluster, at least without mods, is 64 stars. So, and the game does reward exploration. You do get rare resources. You do get rare resources and infinite access to some resources. So, sulfuric acid, for example, in the beginning is made with oil, but then there are planets with sulfuric acid oceans where you can just pump it. The logistics system, I think, also makes scaling quite nice. I do quite like the logistics system in Dyson Sphere. But yeah, so I do definitely want to play more of it. I will probably do some videos on Dyson Sphere. Some of the achievements do involve having to scale pretty decently high. I think the kind of accepted sort of practical target for a mega base is about 10,000 matrices per minute, and I think after that's when you start to see performance issues. So I don't know if I'll go that high, but I definitely want to get all the achievements, and I definitely want to build a really, really big Dyson Sphere, because you don't actually really need to build a Dyson Sphere to beat the game, to beat Dyson Sphere program. You just have to build this Dyson Swarm. And can I? No, I can't view that. Okay. Yeah, you don't even have to. You don't even have to build a Dyson Sphere to be Dyson Sphere program. You just build this Dyson Swarm to basically get the end game research. So yeah, I do want to build a proper Dyson Sphere, but they are very resource intensive and require. So you basically need mega base scale to build like a really big Dyson Sphere. But yeah, I would honestly, if you've played Factorio, especially if you played Space Age or Space Exploration, and I would honestly advise you give it a go. I don't know how much it is on Steam these days, but I think you would definitely get your money's worth out of it. in terms of judging it, like I said, it doesn't feel... There are parts of it that definitely feel worse to play than Factorio, like such as the blueprint system. And the localization is a bit hit and miss in a couple of places, but the dev team behind this game is not big. I believe it's between 4 and 8 people, and they are a Chinese dev team, so obviously not native English speakers, or English won't be their first language. But the localization has improved over the last couple of years, from what I can tell. It's improved in places since I last played it in 2024. So yeah, I would definitely give it a go. And I think as a backdrop to me having a bit of a ramble about the stuff we've talked about, I think it's a very visually pleasing backdrop. So with that, I'm going to leave you. And I hope to be back to making stuff very, very soon. I don't know what it'll be next. It might be Money Factory next, especially if I decide to wait for Twist for 2.9, because there isn't even I don't think there's even a dev build of Twist for 2.9 yet. So yeah, I think it will probably be Money Factory next, if I go back to Minecraft. But I also kind of feel like playing more Dyson Sphere. But I don't know how I'll do videos about Dyson Sphere. I don't know what the best way to structure them would be, because I don't know how to structure videos for Dyson Sphere without them necessarily being too long, I think is the problem. But we'll see. Right, anyway, I hope you all have a lovely day, and thank you very much for watching.